Hello and welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Chris, and on today's video we're going to talk about a fragrance brand that you've probably never heard of. So I have been sitting on this fragrance for a long time. I think I have made this video, in particular this review I should say, more than 6 times, and each and every time I have to refill it because I end up being very harsh with this fragrance. I end up being very mean, if you will, and that's just not my vibe. I don't like to be just mean for mean's sake. There is some constructive criticism that needs to be said about this scent itself and this brand, but overall the fragrance itself is just not my cup of tea. So if that is something that you were looking for, a positive review for this fragrance, it's not going to be me. So I just want to be upfront with you about that itself. I am going to go through the reasons why I don't like this scent in particular, so let's get into it. I am working with a green screen here, and this may not look good, so if it doesn't look good, I will insert shots of the packaging itself. But this is what the box looks like. It is white. It has this little seal here on the front. It has some information here at the back. It says Costa, Brazil, Aroma, Eau de Parfum. This is a 30 ml, so it is a small fragrance bottle. When you do open it up, et voila, you get that inside. And if you open it up again, you get your fragrance bottle. Now, it is a wooden slab, and the cool thing about this bottle itself is that it is sustainably sourced, the wood for this actual bottle, because it is 100% solid wood. At the bottom here, I just want to show you, there is like this little pull-out tab. Something in here. There is a bottle inside. So the actual bottle is refillable, so you can take out the fragrance bottle that's inside, which is this one right here, and you can refill it, which is a really nice little touch here. So the bottle itself is really nice, the idea of the bottle is really nice, but the juice is just not it. I really hate saying that. I purchased this from a viewer or friend a long time ago, actually, and I just, when I got it, I was like, I don't know, how do I say this? I don't like this fragrance. I don't like the smell of it. Whenever you look at the brand's philosophy and you look on their website, you're like, I think I get the vibe of what they're going for here. I think I understand what they're trying to do here, and you kind of envision what the fragrance is going to smell like. And then it arrives, and you're like, you must really love a green sharp scent to like this fragrance. And it's not tamed, it's not polished, it's very rough around the edges, it's very, like I said, wild and raw. And I think that if you're not used to something like that, this may not be the fragrance for you, because it's very, in your face. It's very, potent. Like I said, it's sharp, it's jagged around the edges, it's just a little much. They have a whole slew of products on their website. So they have bath products, they have oils, they have shampoos, they have conditioners, body washes. So I don't know, I assume they're all based on this scent, but here's the difference with that, and I would definitely say to try those products out if you are interested first, because obviously Eau de Parfum is going to be a higher concentration, perfume itself is going to be a higher concentration of the smell itself. And whenever you're putting them to shampoos, conditioners, body washes, lotions, candles, it's a little bit more soothing, a little bit softer, if you will, and it does change the scent. I know it's not supposed to. If it's labeled the same as a perfume, it's supposed to smell the same, but they do change slightly, if you will. So if you're interested in those products, I would certainly say to check them out. But let's get into this fragrance and talk about what it smells like. This fragrance has top notes of Brazilian orange, grapefruit zest, pink pepper, and white blossom. You definitely get the grapefruit zest in this fragrance up top. Also that orange, it's kind of a bitter orange. It's not going to be a very sweet orange. It's going to be very bitter in your mouth, a little sour, a little tart, a little zesty. It's just not going to be one that is going to be digested by absolutely everyone. So not everyone loves a bitter orange itself, and it's not listed as bitter orange, but that's the vibe it's giving. You get that pink pepper. You can kind of smell it in the background. It's not really a key note, the opening itself, and nor is the white blossoms in this fragrance. Then you get middle notes of bourbon, geranium, clear wood, myrrh, and nutmeg. Now, all of these notes are kind of primary notes, if you will. With that being said, some of them can work as background notes, but here we have a whole slew, or all of the middle notes, kind of. Most of the middle notes are primary notes, and they're all kind of clashing with each other, because if you grab bourbon, geranium, and geranium itself, is a very green floral smell. It's kind of earthy at the same time. If you've ever smelled a geranium in person, you know that it's not the most flattering scent on its own, and it's very potent as well. Therefore, it's not going to vibe well with another very loud and kind of scratchy type of smell. Well, they decided to match it with myrrh, another one that can be done very, very well, but it's a primary note. And because of that, both of these are kind of clashing at each other's neck. We get clearwood, which is a registered trademark. It is a synthetic component. Also going to be another primary note in this case because it's typically, or those notes are typically used in the base. So here they're all clashing with each other. The nutmeg can work as a background note. I'm not saying that it's necessarily a primary one, but the other ones themselves are kind of fighting for the spotlight in the middle, creating this really odd atmosphere for the fragrance itself. And in the base, we're going to get amber, atlas cedar, cypriol, musk, patchouli, and vetiver. Again, we get quite a bit of background notes in here, but a lot of primary notes working in the forefront. So now that's not really a bad thing for the base itself, because the base is once the fragrance has diffused, and it's the very last remnants of the fragrance itself, at least the way that it's supposed to dry down. But I would say that a lot of these notes don't really go with each other. Cypriol and mixing that with vetiver, two very greenish type of smelling notes, are kind of clashing again in each other's faces. Now, the patchouli in here is not going to be a wet, earthy patchouli. It's just going to be a very green patchouli, if you will. Again, another green note that's clashing with that cedar, vetiver, and cypriol. So all of those together are kind of just clashing at each other's necks. The amber in here is very minimal. Yes, it's in there. You can still detect it, but it's almost invisible, if you will. It's not quite at the forefront of the entire fragrance. And then the musk, yes, there's a musky component to this fragrance, but again, it's not a primary note in this fragrance. It's just another background note that's not really taking any sort of spotlight or any role, if you will. And because of that, it makes it a little disappointing. Now, the scent itself, I feel like could have done a really great job. I think that if you were to move a couple of notes here and there and tweak it just a tad bit, the fragrance could have been a really great success, because I can see what they're going for. They're going for a woody, modern type of fragrance, but at the same time, something that is true to the actual inspiration of this fragrance, which is the Amazon rainforest. And I think that if they were to, let's say, remove the clear wood, maybe remove the cypriol in this fragrance, dilute the vetiver a little bit in here, make patchouli a little bit more earthy, add some moss maybe, then the fragrance could have been a little bit more digestible for the mass market. But as it stands currently, it's, at least in my opinion, a very hard fragrance for people to digest and a hard fragrance for people to wear. When I first sprayed this on, now this is going to sound really mean, and I'm not trying to be mean here, when I first smelled this fragrance, it reminded me, has anyone ever been to, let's just say as an example, Golden Corral? Bruh. No shade here, but typically there's a lot of older people that go to these restaurants, and there's a smell. It's not them that smell like this. It's the buffet, if you will, in the morning. It's kind of like that chicken noodle soup type of smell that lingers in the air. It's kind of what this was giving to me, and I'm not saying this one like chicken noodle soup. I'm just saying it kind of smells like a buffet breakfast type of Americana type of smell, and for me, it's not. It's just not it. Overall, I do think that the fragrance inspiration is beautiful. I do see where they're going with it, or what they were attempting to do. The fragrance, maybe if it was diluted a little bit more, it would be a little bit easier to wear. I don't know. I just keep trying to find things to say about this fragrance that may make it redeemable. It's not a fragrance that I would layer with anything else. It's not a fragrance that I would wear on its own. Maybe I can test it out with different formulations and trying it out with other oils, maybe. I don't know. I will have to let you know all about that itself. It's just one of those that I've kind of been scared of, because it's a little difficult to test out and play with. And I'm not typically one that's scared of fragrances. I try to find the best things in each one. But this one itself is definitely a challenge, even for me. And I buy a lot of fragrance. I'm not saying I'm a fragrance expert 100% on every brand, but I do try to really see the great attributes of each individual fragrance. And this one itself was just not the one for me. That's not to say that you should not shop with this brand. I do think that if you're looking for a brand that has great integrity, great resources for the environment, then definitely check out this brand. I will link it down below. And yeah, What do you guys think of this fragrance? Have you tried it? Have you not tried it before? Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up and subscribe for more fragrance related content. I love you. I hope to see you on the next video. Until then, take care.